This is Biston betularia, commonly known as the peppered moth, as it has black spots scattered on wings and body. The population of this moth shows variation in body color pattern. There are two common varieties. The Typica variety has light body color, whereas the Carbonaria variety has dark body. The dark body color is because of the presence of the pigment melanin. Prior to the Industrial Revolution in England, Typica moths were predominant. They were easily camouflaged against light tree trunks covered with lichens. Their light-colored body gave them a survival advantage against predation. Around the middle of the 19th century, with the onset of the Industrial Revolution, more individuals of the dark-colored Carbonaria type were noticed in industrial areas. Various naturalists studied them and concluded that the Industrial Revolution produced smoke and carbon soot that reduced lichen growth and blackened tree trunks. The predators could now spot the light-colored type easily against a contrasting background. The dark-colored Carbonaria moths, on the other hand, could easily camouflage themselves. As a result, the population of the light-colored Typica variety slowly decreased in the area, and that of the dark-colored Carbonaria form increased. This phenomenon is called industrial melanism, and it is a classic example of natural selection in action. Let's examine the phenomenon of natural selection. Charles Robert Darwin, an English naturalist, was the originator of the concept of natural selection. Darwin traveled around the world during his famous voyage on the ship HMS Beagle. Darwin collected and studied different plants and animals from various geographic locations. This formed the basis of his theory of evolution by natural selection. Darwin published his work in his book, The Origin of Species. According to Darwin, evolution is descent with modification, and the process responsible for evolution is natural selection. Let's look at Darwin's theory of natural selection with the help of a hypothetical example. This is a small population of mosquitoes living near a water body. These mosquitoes have great potential for reproduction, but not all individuals reproduce to their full potential. Limited environmental resources cannot support a large population. Lack of food, predation, harsh climatic conditions, and competition restrict population growth. So there is a struggle for existence. Let's suppose the civic authority in this area decides to spray pesticide in order to kill mosquitoes. Most mosquitoes die, but a few survive. Can you think of the reason why some mosquitoes have survived? The reason for this is the existence of genetic variation. The mosquito population has a variation for pesticide resistance. The susceptible ones die, and the resistant ones survive. This process, whereby the individual with a favorable variation has a better chance of survival, is known by the popular phrase, survival of the fittest. The word fittest here means most suited to the specific environment. The resistant ones will get the opportunity to reproduce and pass this variation to the next generation. This unequal or differentiated ability to survive and reproduce will build the favorable variation for pesticide resistance up over the generations. Gradually, the mosquito population will change or evolve. It is evident from this example that nature selects the best adapted individuals to survive and reproduce. This is the essence of the concept of natural selection. Natural selection is defined as a process whereby the environment influences a population's genotypic and phenotypic characteristics such that better suited individuals survive and reproduce. Natural selection occurs through an interaction between the environment and the variation. The relevant aspect of the environment in our example is the pesticide, and the variations are susceptibility and resistance. The outcome of natural selection is the adaptation of a population to their environment. The point to remember is that natural selection is one of the mechanisms of evolution. There are other phenomena such as genetic drift, mutation, and recombination that can result in evolution. During his voyage, Darwin studied the finches of the Galapagos Islands, located near the Pacific coast of South America. He found that all 13 species of finches on these islands evolved from a common seed-eating ancestor from the mainland. The variation in beak was the result of a natural selection process enabling these birds to adapt to the food available on the different islands. Evolutionary adaptation in different species of mantids is the result of natural selection. The attractive plumage of the male peacock is the product of natural selection. Its purpose is attracting a mate. Now, apply your understanding of natural selection to this question. Why is it recommended that we finish a course of antibiotics once started, even if we get better before the end of the course? Humans have modified several species of plants and animals over many generations by selecting individuals with desired traits as breeding stocks. This is an example of artificial selection. These vegetables evolved from a common ancestor. By selecting different traits, breeders have obtained different vegetables. All present-day dog breeds belong to the same species that evolved from a wolf-like ancestor. Human beings have artificially selected certain traits over many generations to produce these modern breeds.